All right, so just how your children spend most of their time at school, it's the same with us at the office. The office is our adult school for those who don't work at home. But spending so much time in the cubicle or in your office around other people can, well, drive you crazy.
Yep.
So, pardon you, as Aaron would say, pardon you. So here to help you keep sane on the job, Senior Associate Clinical Psychologist, to make sure I get this right, Sonia Winter, and Associate Counseling Psychologist, Marlene Pottinger Giles. Good morning to both of you. Thank you. Are you Land's mom?
Pardon me?
Are you related to Yolande?
No.
Okay, just checking. All right, so it's good to have you both here. Perhaps you can help to mediate in this matter as well, because this is an ongoing situation.
Stay out of it. It's bigger than it.
But we do spend a lot of our waking moments at work, and mental health is very important there as well. Why is it so important for us to take care of ourselves at work when we're on the job there? Let me start with you, Sonia.
Well, first and foremost, I think it's important to establish that work and employment is a contributor to good mental health, typically. Yes. However, if the environment is negative, then that can lead to undermining your mental health as well as your physical health as well. And
both linked.
Absolutely.
Ms. Sonia, what do you mean by the environment is negative?
A negative work environment is one where employees don't feel empowered, employees don't feel heard, employees feel harassed, employees feel like they don't quite know what they're supposed to be doing. There's no effective communication. It's an environment where an employee just doesn't feel like they're thriving or they're contributing or they're heard. Mm-hmm. A number of stresses in the work environment exist, and that can undermine the mental health of the individual.
Do you think either people as employees or employers understand the importance of that? Because those of us who go to work say, boy, I'm just going to go put in the 8 hours and just go and be a there, man, and just slack it off. Mm-hmm. Employers might see their employees not so happy, but don't make it an area of priority to look after their mental well-being. So do we get it?
I think more and more employers do, because mental health is inextricably linked with, guess what, productivity. Right? And so particularly where I work most of the time at Family Life Ministries, we have relationships with a number of corporate entities where we are counselors and we go in at the drop of a hat. Employees can come to us, they don't have to go through their HR department, and we help to provide support and ensure that we do the best we can to keep them healthy. And mental health is often a part of wellness programs of a number of corporate entities as well.
That's true. I've seen that happen.
Yeah, so, Miss Margaret, when you say I must take care of my mental health, what you mean by that? What you mean by it?
Okay, so just as much as you take care of your physical body, you also need to take care of your mental well-being.
But as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing wrong with me mentally. So what are taking care of?
Okay, so even though there's nothing wrong with your body, you still take care of your bodies every day.
Right.
And in the same way, we have to take care of our mental health every day. It just means, well, for mental health at work, actually you need to start your day with a positive attitude. So from the moment you wake up, and I want to use an acronym, GEL, you start by giving gratitude. Be grateful for just waking up. Enthusiasm. Be enthusiastic about your job. And even if you think that, okay, I'm not getting enough pay and boy, it's just too demanding, just find something about it to be, really enthusiastic about, just to know that at least you're making a difference in somebody else's life. That makes a big difference.
Yep.
And the third L, the L means love. Just love yourself enough to care for yourself and to start your day by saying, no matter what happens today, I'm just going to have I'm going to have a happy day. And I'm just going to enjoy life in spite of everything else that happens, in spite of people, in spite of circumstances.
So Sonia, if I think I'm fine, and my job stressing me out, can I tell that something changing in my body and I can tell that? Or one day I just get up and say, oh, my feet so?
Sometimes you can, but also I think it's important to know you're part of a team and that your team members are looking on. Because believe it or not, your own mental health Neville, is supported by the fact that you are looking out for Simone's mental health. So once you can sort of look outside yourself, the team helps to support the mental health of each other.
Explain that a little bit more.
Okay, so a lot of times mental health is undermined because we're sort of trapped in our own thoughts, our own world, okay? And the mere fact that you're an active member of a team means that you have to sort of look outside yourself and look to the needs of someone else. And that kind of gives you a perspective sometimes, you know? But in terms of, you asked about how do I know that I'm not, that something is not quite right. It often affects your performance in one domain or the other. So if you notice at work your decision making or your memory or your performance is diminished over a period of time, if you're noticing that your relationships suddenly are taking a dip over a period of time and you're just not maintaining your relationships in the same way, or your hobbies have changed, you're not able to sleep, your eating changes dramatically, that sort of a thing.
You just want to get in and get out.
Exactly.
But let me ask you, where do you assess that there's a problem, Marlene? Because most people, or some people, when they wake up, they're like, oh my God, I can't bother with today. But then some people get to a point where when they wake up to go to work, there's a physical reaction. Your head starts to hurt you, your stomach don't feel good. When do you know that there's a chronic issue that really needs to be looked at?
Okay, and you're so correct. So if you wake up day after day and you feel like, I really don't want to go to work today, and this is happening quite frequently, that's an indication. If you're always fatigued at work, so you're just tired, you're making several mistakes, you're just being very irritable, you find you're not sleeping, you're not getting along with your co-workers, you're not being as productive as you used to be.
Check.
And yes,
when you're checking all those boxes, then you need to go and see somebody like one of you. Go and talk to somebody.
Yes.
Yeah. And in addition to, I would say, you're noticing two things. You're thinking that whatever you think about is negative. You can't see anything positive. You have nothing you're finding there's nothing that gives you reason to hope. There's nothing that gives you reason to be optimistic. Everything just looks glum. You're noticing that your thinking is affected, and then also your mood. You just feel low.
At what point is that the point where you go to your employer and you say, because some people feel at that point they make themselves vulnerable, but when do you go and say, I really don't feel, inspired, heard, understood, so on and so forth, with the hope that something will be done?
Well, you would have an idea of you may have an idea of what is causing this. So understand that we are not just in the work, and that is just the work that affects us. There may be other things that is affecting us, other things that are affecting us that you take to the workplace. And so you may want to get professional help to sort out those issues. If you are aware that work is what is affecting you, then that is time that before that you should be going to the employers or the persons that can make a decision and say, this is out of place and I think it is really affecting my productivity. I really don't feel as good as I used to feel, and I know that this is what is is contributing to it. So I think if we could work out something, because you may want to speak to your job roles, because sometimes what really causes stress in the workplace is, you're sitting in the wrong seat.
Yes.
Sometimes you're not so sure of your role. We call it role ambiguity, where you may not be trained for that particular job, or you're not so sure what you're supposed to be doing.
Or you're part of a team and you feel like you're the only one pulling weight.
That's
or
correct.
Whatever it is that can contribute to whatever that poor psyche is. And then maybe after you talk, if nothing changes, you may want to assess if for your own mental health it's time for you to leave. Yeah. Okay, so we find you where now?
We're at Family Life Ministries, and I just want to say that Family Life Ministries has a number of what we call employee assistance programs with a number of employers. And that is where an employee is just not feeling quite themselves, they can just go directly to Family Life Ministries. They don't have to go through their employer, their HR, their supervisor person. They can just call us up and come directly and see us and just do a check-in sometimes.
Great.
Maintenance is good.
Great, yes.
As well as
yes, preventative,
better
than the cure. And Marlene?
I work at University of Technology, Jamaica in the counseling unit. We see students and staff, and we do see some community members. I'm also representing JamSite this morning.
Excellent. We are happy for JamSite, can I tell you? And happy for Family Life as always. Thank you, ladies. Appreciate the tips you were able to give us this morning. Guys, I hope you took notes, especially if you're in this situation. Senior Associate Clinical Psychologist Sonia Winter and Associate Counseling Psychologist Marlene Pottinger-Giles.